transformations and mapping for each of these, but we have to figure out, remember the form for A or for sine or cos is A sine B x minus C plus D. It doesn't change for cos other than there's a cos in here, correct? Okay, is this 3 with the x or not? No, in order for it to be with the x, it would have to be in a bracket with it, correct? There isn't one. And I always say this even with exponent laws. If there is no bracket and you really badly want to put one, you can only put it around the variable it is. Okay? Now there is a catch with transformations. Instead of vertical translation, they say vertical displacement. And instead of horizontal translation, they say horizontal phase shift. It's only for trig. Talk to the upper people. I don't know. I do as I'm told. It is. So stretches stay the same. Reflections stay the same. It's just translations that change. So this 3 is at the very back, which would be in the same spot as D. So it would have a vertical displacement. Three units up. So I would give my mapping as xy becomes x, and how do I move 3 up? I take the y and I add 3 to it. You guys are going to do 1 to 7. There's 3 more on the next page. I want you to do that column. Transformations and mapping, go. So, number 2 is a vertical displacement because it's not with the x. Vertical displacement 2 units down. And how you move 2 units down is by doing y minus 2. Okay. 3, vertical stretch by a factor of 3 about the x-axis. And a vertical displacement 2 units up. So our xy mapping becomes x comma 3y plus 2. And then number 4, we have a vertical stretch by a factor of 2 about the x-axis. Because it's negative, we have a reflection in the x-axis. And then we have a vertical displacement 3 units down. And then our mapping, xy becomes x comma negative 2y minus 3. Then we are going to flip over. We're going to finish just the first column in this table, and then we're going to move on to the questions on the other 2 examples, last 2 examples, then we're coming back to this table. Okay. Number 5. Before we go to do the question, we have to make sure that it's in y equals and there's a 1 in front of the x. You look at your C value. If I don't give you a C value, so this would be my A, this would be my B, this is my C, this is my D. If I don't give you a C value, I have to tell you if it's in radians or degrees because it could be in either. Okay? So this is in radians because your C value is pi over 2. So we're going to have a vertical stretch by a factor of 1/3 about the x-axis. Reflection in the x-axis. Vertical displacement. Yep. Because you know the specific unit. Yeah, in a second.
Well, I guess I can ask a question. So, why are x's being crazy with this? Why is it 2 over pi?
They are being crazy. That's a horizontal facial. That's a translation. The sign just changes. They don't flip. Horizontal stretches flip. Horizontal translation just go the opposite direction. So if it's like theta minus pi over 2, you're just going pi over 2, right? So their flipping is in the sign, not the actual number. So you're going to 3 and 4 and trying to do them. Example 3 and 4, and then we're coming back to this chart. Remember, your period and B are not the same thing. Here's my hint to you. So we're not doing this. We're doing this one, 3 and 4. You need to get the B value, but it is not the period. Amplitude gives you what of the equation? Vertical stretch or what value? A. So we're going to get, and it says to use sine, so we have to use sine. So it's y equals 2 sine. We'll deal with B in a second. X, I need to go pi over 3 to the left. So what are we going to do? Add it. And then a vertical displacement 1 down. Minus 1. Now the period is pi. I need the B, the period. How the heck do I get a period to half? Because it's supposed to be 2 pi. You horizontally stretch it by a half, correct? So what would your B be? No, you're stretching it by a half. What would your B be? 2. The other way you can do it is you can actually use the formula. B equals 360 degrees divided by period, or B equals 2 pi divided by period. So in this case, which one would we use? 2 pi. Because my period's in radians, right? So I would go B equals 2 pi divided by pi. So B equals 2, which makes sense, because if B is 2, then the horizontal stretch is a half. And I would take 2 pi times a half, which would give me pi. The amplitude for this one is 1/4, so that's going to go in for my vertical stretch or my A value. Then I get sine. The period is 6 pi. I need B. So B equals 2 pi divided by the period. And what is the period? 6 pi. Do you know that all of the alternate answers to this is putting that period in for B? That's where the general oops is going to come on every single unit exam that I give you, is I'm going to put period in for B and you're going to pick it. But period and period are different. One's a B, one's a P. Period's also made up. It's not real. So B equals 2 pi over the period. So the period helps you get B, but it is not what B is. So it equals 1/3. Does that make sense? If my horizontal stretch, if this is 1/3, my horizontal stretch would be 3. So 2 pi would be tripled. And then I get 6 pi, which makes sense. Then I need to go pi to the left. So I'm going to go x plus pi. And then a vertical displacement 2 up. So the next one, we're going to get y equals the amplitude, which is 4 sine the period. So P equals 540 degrees. How do I get B? 360 degrees divided by 540 degrees, which I believe reduces to 2/3. And the little degrees cancel. So I get 2/3. Then I need to go 60 degrees right. So I'm going to go x minus 60 degrees. 3 down. Example 4 uses the cos equation, which doesn't change anything. The only difference here is you don't have to find B. It gives you the horizontal stretch factor, which is the flip of B, right? So if I look at example 4, it says the graph of y equals cos x is transformed as described. Determine the transformed equation in this form. Vertical stretch by a factor of 1/3. So I'm going to get y equals 1/3. Then cos, because it says it has to be in the form of cos. Cos. Horizontal stretch by a factor of 2. So that's words, and I'm trying to put it into the equation. So what's it going to be in the equation? So you cross the double-headed arrow. 1/2. Horizontal phase shift 30 degrees right. Minus 30 degrees. And then a vertical displacement 5 down. You do B quickly. So we're going to get y equals 4 cos. Horizontal stretch by a 1/4. What am I going to get? 4. Pi over to the left. We could add pi over 2. Then 3 up. Okay, pencils down. I want you to listen. So, every single equation that I give you, you're just watching. If I give you y equals 3 sine x plus 4, let's say. This here is your basic sine function would be this, sine x plus 0, and there'd be a 1 here, correct? Your basic sine x function, if I want to put letters in. This is my d value. This is my midline. We're just going to talk about this. We're not writing anything. So my midline is an equation. It's y equals 0. We talk about it way more tomorrow. So if I wanted to draw it on a Cartesian plane, it would be here. So from my midline and my amplitude, I should be able to get my maximum and my minimum. My vertical stretch is my amplitude, correct? Yes? Vertical stretch is amplitude. So on your basic function, I would then go up 1, and I would get a maximum of 1. And if I went down 1, I would get a minimum of -1. We agree? If I have the midline and the amplitude I can count, I get my maximum min. So what's the midline of this one? This is my midline. So I would have myself my graph. And right here, I have the line y equals 4, which is my midline. What's my amplitude? 3. So if I go up 3, what's my maximum going to be at? And if I go down 3, what's my minimum going to be at? So you can get your min and max as long as you have your d and your amplitude, correct? Another way to remember it is max, I would say is damp. D plus amp. So it's your midline plus your amplitude. And your min is your d minus m. So it's damp. And you have to start off with d because d is your midline. And then you add up from your midline or down from your midline. You can't start at your amplitude. You have to start at that d value, that midline. So go back, pick up your pencils, and we're going to go back to the front here. We're going to talk about the range. In order to get the range, we're going to do the range of each of these. In order to get the range, we have to get the max and min. So, what is the maximum going to be of this graph? What is my midline? 3. And then what's my amplitude? 1. So I have a horizontal line at 3 and I go up 1. So what's it going to be at now? 4. And then my minimum, I have a horizontal line at 3 and I go down 1. So what's it going to be at? 2. If I do it in interval notation, it's 2 comma 4. Very, well, whatever. And I could draw it. I could go y equals 3, and then up 1 will give me y equals 4, down 1 will give me y equals 2. Like I could sketch it and actually look at it, right? So you can just draw that line, or you can use, which I'm going to write up here, maximum equals d plus amplitude, so damplitude, and the minimum is damplitude as well, but subtraction. And the other one we can use is period equals 2 pi over b. Or you can swap the b and p. You can say b equals 2 pi over period. Remember how we used that one? You just swap the b and p. Or you can go period equals 360 degrees divided by p. So what's the period of this graph? Well, I'm going to say it's in degrees because there is no c value. I would have to pick one. Okay? So I'm going to say this graph is in, this equation is in degrees. So to get the period, I would go 360 degrees divided by b. What is the b on this equation? It's a 1. Remember, if you don't know where they exist, you can go look on your formula sheet. B is always found between the sine and the x, or the cosine and the x. So between the sine and the x, it's just a 1 if there's nothing. Okay? So there is no horizontal stretch. So if there's no horizontal stretch, my period will be 360 or 2 pi. Because that means it didn't change, right? Does this one have a horizontal stretch? Or a b value? My b is just 1. So if I say this one's in radians, what would my period be? 2 pi over 1. So just 2 pi. Then say I want the range. How would I get the maximum? We do damplitude, right? So it's going to equal -2 plus the amplitude. What's the amplitude? 1. Remember, your amplitude is just your absolute value of your A or your vertical stretch. When there isn't one, it's just a 1. So my maximum is going to be negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. What's my minimum going to be at? Negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3. If I do it in set notation, it's y such that negative 3 is less than or equal to y, is less than or equal to negative 1. Y is not on the rails. Remember, you go low to high, less than sign. For 3, what's the period? My B is 1, so what's the period if I say this is in degrees? It would be just 360 because it wouldn't change. It would be 360 divided by 1. Some of you guys forgot degree symbols on your test. You can thank me for not deducting marks.
Thank you.
What would the range be? So what's the maximum? What's my D? 2 plus my amplitude? 3, so I get 5. Then I use the amplitude again, but minus. So I go 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. The interval notation would be negative 1 to 5. Just depends on what form I ask for it. This one, if it's in radians, what's the period? Two pi, because my B is just a 1 again. There's no horizontal stretch. So it'd be 2 pi over 1, which is 2 pi. The maximum equals D, which is negative 3, plus my amplitude. What's my amplitude? Close. 2. Because your amplitude is just your vertical stretch, correct? Your amplitude is the absolute value of A. So if your A is negative, your amplitude is still positive because it's the distance. It's 2. So I get negative 1. Do you think they're going to go negative 3 minus 2 as an option on the test? They absolutely will. And then your minimum is negative 3 minus 2, which is negative 5. If I do set notation, practice the different ones. Go low to high. So negative 5 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to negative 1. Okay, and then we're flipping over. All right. This one, what is the period? It's in radians. My B value is 1, so it's going to be 2 pi. And the range is the amplitude, so I'm going to do maximum is 2 plus 1/3, which is 2 plus 6, 2 over 6. Nope, try again, 6 over 3. I can change this one to this. 6 over 3 plus 1/3 is 7/3. And then my minimum is 2 minus 1/3, which is 6/3 minus 1/3, which is 5/3. This one has a B value of 1/2, and it's in degrees. So the period would be 360 degrees divided by 1/2. Dividing by 1/2 is like multiplying by 2. You get 720 degrees. Or you could take 360 and times by the horizontal stretch of 2, which is still 720. Same math. Well, you just have to memorize a formula. What is my D? Try again. 0. What's my amplitude? 1. So my range, my max is going to be 0 plus 1, which is 1, and my min is 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. So my amplitude and my range didn't change from the original function, and the reason why is nothing happened to my y's. So this graph got wider, but not taller. Didn't even move up. And then this one is in radians. So the period is 2 pi divided by the b value. The b value is 3. And the range is, once again, d, which is 0 and 1. So the range isn't going to change. So it's max equals 0 plus 1, which is 1. And min is 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. Your homework comes from the textbook. You're intentionally using the textbook twofold. 1, so you have to use your textbook, and 2, so you find it. If it's in your car's trunk, under your bed, holding up your desk, so you don't have to pay $160 in January. So this is going on your Sunday homework.
So this is a new start.
New start, yeah.
What was the other one?
It was the chapter 4, like, handout I gave you. Like,
Okay, I was wondering if that was due yesterday and I like.
that was on Wednesday of like the week before.
Pardon?
Like,